Hey guys, so today we are going to have this gay couple tell us about the 16 different types of sexual orientations. Yep. Now, to be fair to this gay couple, they just seem to know absolutely nothing about this whole SJW stuff, and they're just getting completely brainwashed, and they just have no idea about it, so this really isn't their fault at all, and I don't really blame them for anything. Now, to make things clear on where I stand on this, I think there are only 3 sexual orientations. There's being heterosexual, homosexual, and bisexual. Now, you can be asexual, that's true, but that's not a sexual orientation, because by definition, you're not attracted to people. Now, I'm going to skip the first minute or so of this video, because they just give a shout out to their friend, who apparently wrote a article on the 16 different types of sexual orientations.
So number 1, the first sexual orientation is obviously
gay. So it's when a male is attracted to another male.
And they kiss, and they cuddle, and they touch each other's bits.
Okay, we can stop there. Number 2, so this is the female version of gay, which is a lesbian. This means a female is attracted to another female.
And that means they kiss and they hug and they touch each other's bits.
They get that. You don't have to say that every single time.
I'm just explaining what a lesbian is.
I'm sure they know.
I really have no objection to them introducing either of these sexual orientations, other than the whole stupid they kiss and they touch each other's bits things. I mean, that's just a stupid joke. I don't really see the humor in that. But I don't really see why they have to introduce gay and lesbian as 2 different sexual orientations. I mean, by that standard, you would have to introduce a straight man and a straight woman as 2 different sexual orientations. You have to introduce a bisexual man and a bisexual woman as 2 different sexual orientations. So you would have 6 different sexual orientations where there should have only been 3, and that makes no sense. I don't see why those have to be 2 different sexual orientations. But otherwise, I have no problem with that. That is what being gay is. So I have no issue with that.
Number 3 is bisexuality.
You can explain that one if you want.
That means that the person is attracted to a male or a female, and they kiss and cuddle a male or a female.
Okay, you don't say that every...
And they touch each other's bits.
No problem with that. That is what bisexual is.
Number 4. So this is straight/heterosexual, which means they like the opposite sex. A male is attracted to a female. That is the most common one, apparently.
And they hug and touch each other's bits.
Stop it!
Okay, I don't see why they had to make it as a male attracted to a female, because it's either a male's attracted to a female or a female's attracted to a male. But whatever, that is what heterosexual is. You're attracted to the opposite sex. That is what it is, no objection to it. And really, they touch each other's bits thing is not funny. I don't see why that's a funny joke.
Number 5 is questioning or bi-curious, which means you're straight, but you're questioning your sexuality a bit.
You might have a romantic feeling to a certain person of the same sex.
Okay, well, they're kind of going through these things too fast for me to really go into depth into what these mean. So, yes, I understand that there are people who might be questioning, especially if they're a teenager and they're kind of just trying to understand their sexuality, whether they're gay or whether they're bisexual or whether they're straight or whatever. And I understand that sexuality, unlike gender, is something that can change with hormones. There have been recorded cases of transgender people who have went in hormones and have experienced some sort of change in their sexuality. So yes, I do understand that sexual orientation can change a little bit. However, that doesn't make it an entirely different sexuality when you're questioning your sexuality, because you do tend to settle down at some point. You don't always remain in some kind of weird limbo, and that's a different sexual orientation. No, you might go through some period where you're questioning your sexuality, but then you end up settling down, figuring out that you're gay or straight or bisexual. You end up being in one of those categories, or there are a small minority of people who are asexual, but like I said, that's not a sexual orientation. That's the opposite of a sexual orientation.
Number 6. This is pansexual, which means they are attracted to basically anyone. They just have whoever they have a romantic connection with and they're attracted to, they will go for.
Just everyone's a possibility.
Everyone.
That's so cool. And everything.
Okay, so this is part of the reason I wanted to respond to this video. The whole pansexual thing. So, a lot of people have been talking about the pansexual thing. It's become a huge popular thing, especially for a lot of people on Tumblr to adopt. I do understand it as a genuine preference. However, I don't understand it as a genuine sexual orientation. So from what I understand, people who genuinely consider themselves pansexual say that they don't really care about people's genitals. They more care about somebody's romantic connection with somebody. But that's still not a sexual orientation, because you're still attracted to both sexes. You just tend to go for their personality more than their genitals. That's a preference. That's not a sexual orientation. I do recognize that it's a genuine preference. I just don't understand why that needs a sexual orientation label, because you still fall under the label of bisexual. So that's just bisexual. That's just bisexual with a certain label. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but that's just bisexual. And it's usually adopted by people who are trying to sound special. Like, again, I understand there are people who genuinely fit that label, but that's not a separate sexual orientation. That does not warrant the suffix of sexual. That's not a sexual orientation in and of itself.
Number 7 is asexual, which means you're not attracted to anyone. Which is fine, but it's kind of sad because it means kind of lonely.
But if you like it that way and you're asexual, then good for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, like I said, asexual is a legitimate phenomenon. But I have two things to say about it. First of all, it's not a sexual orientation, because the whole point of it is that you're not attracted to people. So how is that a sexual orientation? Second of all, though, again, I do recognize it as a genuine phenomenon that does happen due to specific reasons, like a low libido, hormone imbalances, or some other sort of thing that's going on. There's not that much research into the specific factors that contribute to it. There's a lot of people who do adopt that label nowadays in order to sound special. Like in that BuzzFeed video, there seemed to be a lot of people who seemed like they were saying it just to sound special, and people like Milo Stewart, who say that you can be kinky and still be asexual. So I really don't know how many of the people who are claiming to be asexual are actually asexual.
Number 8. So this one is called demisexual, and it's kind of like asexual. You don't really have a
Sexual attraction
sexual attraction to anyone, except if you really, really like someone and you have like a romantic, emotional connection with them. In that way,
I think it means you find it hard to, but if you do it, means
if you find that person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, on the whole demisexual thing, again, I don't get why this warrants a label. It's just a preference that you want a romantic connection, that you prefer to have a romantic connection before you want to get in a sexual relationship or really have a sexual attraction. And the thing about it is that it doesn't specify who you're sexually attracted to. So how does that specify, how's that sexual orientation? The whole point of sexual orientation is that it specifies who you're attracted to in relation to what your gender is. So if demisexual doesn't specify whether you're homosexual or heterosexual or bisexual, then how's a sexual orientation? It's just a preference. I don't understand how that's a sexual orientation. I understand how you can want to have a romantic relationship and not really have a sexual attraction until you really fall in love with someone, but I don't understand how that's its own sexual orientation. I'm sorry.
Number 9 is grey A, which means, I can't remember. Normally has no sexual attraction but feels it on the odd occasion.
But it's like when you like I really crave ice cream. That's kind of the equivalent.
It's kind of not, because I crave it all the time.
Okay, so this is supposed to be you're kind of asexual, which doesn't make sense, because either you are or you're not. I think this just describes having a low libido, which, how does that make sense? Because again, that doesn't specify what gender you're attracted to specifically, which automatically makes it not a sexual orientation, because the whole point of sexual orientation is that it's supposed to specify which gender you're attracted to. So already that doesn't make any sense. And also, where do you draw the line? Like, what is the libido line for what counts as this quote-unquote sexual orientation? Like, if If you want to masturbate, I don't know, 3 times a week, do you count as gray A? But if you want to masturbate 4 times a week, do you not? You count as straight? Where do you draw the line?
Okay, we can't pronounce this one, but Trent's gonna try.
Androgynous sexual. So they are attracted to both women and men, but both women and men have to have really feminine features plus really masculine features at the same time.
So, bisexual.
So they're getting a bit picky here. But yeah, I don't know what to say about that one because I can't really pronounce the word, so I don't want to start giving lessons on it.
Again, that's just being bisexual with preferences. I don't get why having preferences makes that a whole different sexual orientation. These people are really just trying to sound special. Not these people. I think this particular couple is just kind of confused, and they're just trying to sound inclusive, and they really don't know what's going on. But whoever made up these sexual orientations is clearly just trying to sound special.
Okay, this is number 11. This is androsexual. Hopefully I said that right. This means you're attracted to men with masculine features.
And also women if they have really masculine features as well.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think it's just men with masculine features.
No, it is. I'm pretty sure it's also women. But they're gonna have really masculine features.
We're not 100% on any of this, so comment below and if we've made mistakes, we're so sorry.
Yeah.
So this whole thing, I'm attracted to masculinity, so that's a whole different sexual orientation. No, that's just a preference. How is that a sexual orientation? The whole point of sexual orientation is that it specifies to what sex you're attracted to. Whether you're attracted to masculinity or femininity, what does that have anything to do with it?
Number 12 is gynosexual, which means they are attracted to females with really feminine features.
So if you're a straight female and you're masculine, then you're out of luck.
Sorry, can't get with a gynosexual.
Okay, same thing for this one. I don't get how being attracted to masculinity or femininity is a sexual orientation. Being attracted to males or females is a sexual orientation. That's the whole point.
Okay, so this is number 13, and it is heteroflexible. This means that you are heterosexual, but you're flexible to have a relationship with the same sex, but
you're not
bisexual. You're heteroflexible.
Figure that one out.
So really, you're bisexual, but you just don't want to admit it.
No, but you're not bisexual. You're heteroflexible.
Okay.
Okay. So number 14 is homoflexible, which is kind of like the opposite to the last one. So you're a gay person who is attracted to the opposite sex. So it'll be me and Luke. Still gay, but attracted to a female.
But not bisexual.
But not bisexual. That's the main point there. Not bisexual.
I can understand that there are some gay men who occasionally will go out of their way to date a woman, or lesbians who occasionally date a man, or straight men who will sometimes date a guy, or straight women will sometimes date a girl. But that's experimenting with your sexuality, similar to the whole bi-curious thing. Again, you end up settling with one sexuality. You don't tend to stay in that questioning phase forever, so I don't understand why this needs to be labeled as a whole nother sexuality.
Okay, number 15. I can't really pronounce either, and I've got my computer because I don't really understand what it means, but I'm going to try my best. It is scoliosexual.
Scoliosexual?
Someone who is attracted to genderqueer or non-binary people. I don't know what that means, because I'm not very...
Should we Google it?
Let's Google it.
Will identify with sex but uses gender-neutral terms. Can be used with cisgender and transgender. Okay. Okay.
I still really don't understand.
We're gonna move on because we're not educating you at all.
I bet these people are gonna get so much flack from SJWs. It's just gonna be so crazy. How could you not know what non-binary means, you bigots? Anyway, why does the definition say can be used with cisgender or transgender people? Are these people admitting that non-binary people are really just cisgender people? Because that would be awesome. Anyway, moving on. That's not a sexuality either because there's no evidence for non-binary. And anyway, even if there were, it wouldn't make sense because non-binary would be an anomaly So it wouldn't really make sense that your brain would be wired to specifically just be attracted to something that would be so rare. I mean, maybe it would happen, but it would be very, very rare.
And the last one,
Number 16 is autosexual. This one is someone who is sexually attracted to themselves.
wow,
So that's you, baby.
that's a good relationship to have.
You're an autosexual.
You're a fucking autosexual.
Am I?
So I'm assuming that was a joke, but if that's not a joke, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Please somebody kill me. Please somebody tell me that was just a joke. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.
Feel the funk blast!